Welcome back to episode 185 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. It's June 1st. We have completed 2 months of the regular season, and we are fastly approaching the halfway mark of the season. And that's kind of crazy to think because it still feels like the season just started a couple of weeks ago. But we have stuff that we wanted to talk about as always. But before we get into everything, Kyle, how are you doing? And I can't help but notice Odell Beckham Jr. 13 jersey hanging. I bet you were very excited today hearing that news.
Man, when I tell you my inner child came out, dude, I can't say it enough. I mean, he was drafted in 2014. That was like peak of my sports time, right? I was a freshman in high school, and yeah, man, it was just everybody knows what he did with the Giants. It was cut short, in my opinion. I hated the time he was traded to the Browns, and I'm gonna keep this light because we're not a football podcast, but Odell is one of my all-time favorite athletes, and for the fact that he's finally back where he belongs in New York, I don't want to hear a single person say, "Oh, what the hell are the Giants doing?" Listen, this has been a long time coming, man. This has been a long time coming. I graduated high school. He got traded. And for the last few years, it's just been there's nothing that us Giants fans could look forward to and be excited about. And everybody knows the excitement he brought to the Giants and to football itself. And dude, it's man, I could have cried this morning when the news dropped. I was at my desk at work and I quickly checked my phone and I saw the Giants. They posted on Instagram and it said OBJ, and I'm like, no way. And then of course here he is. He's back in New York where he belongs. And man, dude, I can't tell you enough how excited I am. Yeah, Giants got me excited again finally. So super pumped for that. So yes, thank you for asking, Odell. Man, so glad to have you back and finish your career where it started and where you belong. You already got your ring out in Los Angeles. I'm not even gonna say it, but you know what? I'm happy. Let's leave it there and let's go Giants as always. But yeah, absolutely, man. I was super pumped and you know, to finish your, question and things. I'm doing good, man. Yeah, absolutely. So, um, yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, Odell back in New York. Dude, it's so crazy to say that, but yeah, how are you doing, man?
That's usually how it goes. Athletes fail in other places and then they come to LA to win. That's usually how it goes. And
Yeah, I suppose.
I'm doing well. The Dodgers coming off a fantastic homestand. They swept the Rockies, which they thankfully they did what they were supposed to do with that. And then they took 2 out of 3 from the Philadelphia Phillies over this weekend. And if it wasn't for Tanner Scott blowing the game in the eighth inning, they would have had a sweep and a perfect homestand. But I give him a pass. He's been terrific. I put out a video about it today. You can go watch it. He's been nails. He's been fantastic. And Dodgers are rolling. For the first time, really, I can't remember the last time it's been like this, but you know, the Padres and the Dodgers have been pretty neck and neck for the first 2 months of the season. Like, I know the San Diego was in first place at one point for a couple days there, then the Dodgers took over. But I think the biggest division lead the Dodgers have had against San Diego, outside of right now, which is 5.5, I think I want to say it was like maybe 3 or 2. So I think as of today, it's 5.5, which is good. For the first time this week, the Dodgers were winning, and the Padres were actually losing some games. So the Dodgers were able to get some ground on them, which is what I like. And they're just playing good baseball. That's all I can ask for. And got a short, very short mini road trip right up to Arizona. So they're not going that far. Then we come back to play against that shitty team in Orange County this weekend. So, very much looking forward to that. But yeah, doing extremely well. We got, of course, I know I'm not a football or hockey podcast, but Stanley Cup Final, NBA Finals this week. I'm very excited. I guess I'm going for the Knicks. I'm so glad OKC lost on Saturday. I'm very happy for that. So it should be a tremendous NBA Finals. Spurs and Knicks 99 rematch. And you got the Stanley Cup Final. You got Hurricanes and the Golden Knights. And let me tell you something. I I don't like the Golden Knights. They came into the league about maybe 10 years ago. Yeah, about 9 years ago. And they have not stopped winning, and their fans are very arrogant because of it. So I'll put it to you this way: if the Golden Knights, if the Vegas Golden Knights were playing against North Korea, I would root for North Korea. That's how much I don't like the Vegas Golden Knights. But um, anyways, we're not doing those other sports. But I don't think people understand. Like there's certain I usually there's certain teams I don't like, and then there's that next tier, and the Golden Knights for me are one of them. But anyways, let's get back into the baseball and let's discuss labor negotiations because that is what all we're going to be talking about the minute the final pitch of the World Series is thrown. That is all we're going to discuss until 2029, according to fans of other teams. So, of course, news broke last week that the first um, details came out about a new proposed CBA. You had the Players Association come out with their version, and then you had the owners come out with theirs, and then a rebuttal from both sides. So those numbers did become public, and the main thing that stood out, I think, to everybody was that the owners are trying to implement a salary cap, which that has been known for years. That this when this CBA expires, the owners are really going to push for it. They want a cap. Now, this is just the first proposal. They wanted it at $245 million. There are 8 teams right now under this current the way it's structured that are over the projected salary cap for right now. And then you have like a bunch of teams that are under it, and then you have teams that are because in me, if you want a cap, you're gonna have to put a floor. In the projected floor, there's like 7 or 8, almost 10 teams that are under it, meaning they're gonna have to spend to get to that number, and along with other things. But of course, the CBA, I mean, the salary cap was a big topic of discussion last week, and yeah, so a part of me likes the fact that we're starting to get some movement towards that because my biggest fear was that we were not going to hear anything from both sides until December 1st when the contract expires, and then we weren't going to start hearing anything until February when players are getting ready to report, and then all this stuff was going to start. So I'm so glad that they're starting to get a head start on this, but I'm not a fan of the projected salary cap that was thrown out there. Again, I know it's just a proposal, and I'm sure people are we're gonna, it's gonna go up if there will be a salary cap. Which, let me make myself clear, I don't want it, and I know you're probably saying, "Oh yeah, typical Dodger fan. Why would you want a salary cap?" The thing that doesn't make any sense to me. So all these teams, all these billionaire owners that cry poor and complain about my team, and I don't know if you saw the initial reporting, the owners are using the Dodgers as like this oh, they're the big bad team. They're the reason why we even have to have these discussions right now. You mean to tell me the Pirates, who under the projected salary floor are like $70 million off of it, you mean to tell me that all of a sudden they're just gonna spend that money to get up to the floor? That's the thing that drives me crazy, and I don't understand. That's what really bothers me. Like all these billionaire owners that cry poor, they complain about what the Dodgers are doing. All of a sudden, the money that they don't have, all of a sudden they put in a cap. Oh, look, we have all this money now. Now I know also in there the revenue sharing 50-50, the TV rights that might get split. That's like the projected was to get split between all 30 teams, which I don't know why the Dodgers would ever agree to that. But um, again, it's just I'm glad we got the ball rolling on this because this is going to be a big topic of discussion, especially once the season is over. But we got to do better. Better if we're going to have a salary cap. 245 million cannot be the cap. I'm sorry, it can't be.
Yeah, Absolutely. I want to shout out Sports Ball for a second on Instagram. He makes these really crazy,
I saw that.
uh, yeah, these graphs and stuff. He pretty much puts these terms into a graphic that he hand draws. Dude, he's talented as hell. But
And he breaks
shout out
it
to him.
down and he dumbs it down for an idiot like me that, you know.
Yeah.
Also, you
No,
agree?
absolutely.
No, just kidding.
No,
No,
no.
just kidding. I know, I'm just
No,
kidding.
no. So I want to shout out to him because I'm going to be getting a lot of my information from him here because I think what he does is just like he breaks it down so simple. So the gap between the highest and lowest payrolls right now in Major League Baseball is 5.1. That's a big gap. Now, if you look at the other leagues, you have the NHL and the NFL at 1.3, and you have the NBA at 1.4. MLB is proposing to go down to 1.4. Now, that's going to be neck and neck with the NBA, zero point 0.1 higher than the NFL and NHL. Now, what doesn't make sense to me here is exactly what you said. How are we going to get these billionaire owners to spend more if, like, 8 teams have to shed payroll, 12 teams have to increase payroll, right? There is only 10 teams in Major League Baseball right now that, if this were to go into effect, that are safe in the new CBA. It doesn't make sense to me at all because just to name off some of these teams, you have Miami, Cleveland, Tampa Bay, the White Sox, St. Louis, Washington, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Milwaukee, the Athletics, Colorado, and Cincinnati all have to raise payroll. That's going to get that's going to spend $172.2 million as a minimum. That is what they're looking at as as the floor. Um, if you look at the 8 teams that have to shed payroll, it's Atlanta, San Diego, Boston, Philly, Toronto, New York, both New York teams, and Los Angeles. That is going to get $578 million combined between those teams. I don't know, man. I
Oh,
because
the
then
teams that actually care about winning and put a good product on the field every season? Oh, those
exactly,
teams?
yeah, pretty much. Not to mention how you were talking about the TV deals. New York and Los Angeles are pretty much. I mean, they both have their own sports network. That's no secret. Centralizing the split evenly. I don't know where in the world. Do you know how much money these these owners are going to lose? And what for? They're going to lose it because they want to win and they're okay spending? That's what irritates me. That's what just doesn't make sense. These I this collective bargaining agreement, this proposal just does not make sense to me at all. I don't like it. I kind of hate it to be 100% honest with you. It I don't know, man. I don't. I go back at now that the real proposal is out, and now that we're here, we can actually talk about it. Why are we? Why are we continuously bashing the teams who want to win and spend money and make their team better? It just I don't understand how you're. That's what we've been taught our entire lives. Is that if you want to win, like, dude, I'm a Yankees fan. George Steinbrenner kind of started this whole thing of where I'm going to spend more money than everybody and I'm going to make sure I win championships. And now that the Yankees have kind of gone away from that, the Dodgers are doing it. The Dodgers are doing it at a level that George Steinbrenner didn't even do it. If they have the money, what's the problem? And then people want to say, oh, well, these smaller market teams don't have the money to do it. My ass, dude. It doesn't make sense. If you can own a major league franchise and get the revenue that these teams are getting is ridiculous. In my mind, make it to where teams' revenue, their profits, split it more. If these owners really are crying poor and everything else, split more of the revenue that the higher payroll teams get. Split more of it, give it to the bottom, and then get back to spending money. But I'm sorry, dude. Like, on top of this, the Miami Marlins are at the very bottom. They're not even spending. They're spending $82 million on their entire payroll. How is that the Dodgers' fault? How is that the Mets' fault? How is that the Yankees' fault? the Blue Jays, the Phillies, the Red Sox, the Padres, or the Braves. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not here for it. I don't like the proposal. If you're gonna put a salary cap in, that's fine, but make it more than what you're proposing. It just doesn't make sense. And I I don't know, man. This just feels it doesn't feel right because you can't tell me that a team like the Tampa Bay Rays, who continuously never spend money and put a winning product on the field every single year. Look, dude, they have like the best record in the American League right now, and their payroll is bottom 10. I don't know, man. I don't know. To me, why it's not a broken system. I don't think what the Dodgers are doing is bad for baseball. I think what they're doing is actually good. And if more teams spend, the more you're going to attract these big name free agents. The Dodgers can attract these big name free agents because if I'm a free agent, right, and I'm a top 15 player in the league, and I look at all the places I can go. Well, to me, now this is me personally, I want to win a championship. I also want to make sure that my family is well off. To me, why would I sign with the Miami Marlins, who I know is never going to pay me what I think I deserve, and take me to the promised land and win me a freaking championship? No. The Dodgers will do that. So yeah, it's going to look more attracting to go to Los Angeles than it is Miami because hey, guess what? I have the best chance to win. So if other teams start doing this, if the Marlins all of a sudden shoot up and spend money like we know they can, and I'm a free agent, I'm like, well, the Marlins are willing to spend money, which means I could potentially get a championship out of this. And I like Florida. So let me sign with Miami because I know I'm going to get paid and I know they're willing to spend money. That's how you get free agents in the door. It's what the Dodgers are doing, and they're doing it at a very high level. Good for them. Why are they getting knocked for it? That's what doesn't make sense to me. So I don't like the new CBA. I really don't, but we are at the very beginning stages of all of this. So I really hope the players union comes out and is like, yeah, no, no, we're gonna have to negotiate this. And listen, I'm not one that's like, pro lockout. I'm not. If we can resolve this thing before the CBA expires, hey, great. That's a win-win for everybody. But that's not going to happen. The Major League Baseball is too stuck in their ways, and we're gonna see it this lockout, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just this first proposal is just it's way off to me from what we're gonna get. So that's kind of my 2 cents, at least on Major League Baseball's part.
Yeah, and we'll see when the next proposal is.
Hmm.
This was I mean, listen, you're not going to show your best hand right away. So I'm
Hmm.
sure these proposals will get more interesting and probably better. But I just, like, yeah, you mentioned it. This is not a good jumping off point. And you saw a lot of baseball Twitter, like, panicking, like, oh shit, now we're really not going to have any baseball next year if these are the proposals that are going to be brought to the table here. But um, speaking of, well, not speaking of, but kind of staying on the topic here, there was also another report that came out about potentially, expansion, because I'm sure that's gonna um, take its place soon. We've heard
Yep.
Vegas, we've heard Nashville. I think those have been the two cities I think that Major League Baseball has wanted to go to the most recently. Of course, the Vegas is already building um, the stadium in Vegas for the Athletics. They're trying to build something with Nashville already. I think that we've heard like they're trying to build like a community there or something. But how about an active city that already has a professional team? Sacramento. They threw their hat into the ring of potentially being an expansion, and from what it sounds like, it doesn't sound like they want the A's. They want their brand new own baseball team. Um, honestly, I'm for it. I mean, the pictures I saw in the proposal look nice. Um, it can't be in the stadium there are now. I'll tell you that. That's a big no-no
No.
for me. That's. I mean, Major League Baseball might have to deal with that this season, but if the Athletics get into the playoffs, those games are going to be at that stadium,
Yeah,
12,000 capacity
yeah,
or however much is in there. But see, I mean, Sacramento. Well, I almost said Seattle. Uh, Sacramento throwing their hat into the ring there, and I mean, if you can show, and that's all these owners and the commissioner cares about, how can you make more profit? If you can show them that you have a foundation and you have a blueprint and a system, they'll grant you the team. And especially if a city like Nashville is getting behind on their stuff, they might just give it to Sacramento instead of Nashville. But I thought that was
yeah.
very interesting, and I thought Sacramento was just going to be a bridge and a gateway for the A's until their stadium in Vegas was ready. Turns out they might be getting their own brand new team in a couple years here.
Yeah. I think for me, I like the idea of expansion because hey, grow the game. I've always been a advocate for growing this game, and we obviously cover it all the time. We love this game. It's a huge passion of ours, and if we can get, because not only does it bring a team to another city, what it does, it expands the league. These minor league players who are coming up, they have more opportunity because now you got another, 48 or yeah, however much, slots to fill if you get two brand new expansion teams. And that's something that's huge to me because guess what? That's more opportunity for the players. Um, yeah, it would be a total of 52 players. So yeah, and that's not including a brand new farm system, in four levels of minor league ball. That's huge to me. Why not, right? And another city I want to mention is Orlando. And I think Johnny Damon, to be honest with you, is
Yeah,
actually he's kind of, he's kind of the head of this team for Orlando, where they're really pushing to get a team down there. So um, hey, I'm for it, man. I'm for it because if you can grow this game and get some brand new blood in there and get some new identities, hey, well, why not? You know, um, I'm for it, man. I really am. So I want to ask you, if you had your choice, where's the new team going?
one or two,
2-2. You can do
Vegas and
two.
Nashville.
Okay.
I think there's
What about
clearly, I think there's clearly an appetite for it in Nashville. The hockey team is successful with the Predators. I know they weren't good. They didn't have a good season this year, but they have a base that really cares about that team. And if you put a winning product out there, the fans will show up. And I saw that with the Predators in the late 2010s when they got to the Stanley Cup final and all that. Like those fans were really into it. And you see with Tennessee, they're getting a new stadium. They're moving to a new building. It seems like Nashville is trying to be more than just the capital of country music or whatever they say over there. But it seems like they're trying to be a sports town, and I feel like a baseball team having three out of the four professional sports, and not to mention they host a ton of basketball and a ton of basketball tournaments. I think they host the um, SEC tournament for men's basketball before March Madness. So um, they're clearly trying to become a sports town. They are a sports town. I'm not saying they're not, but um, I feel like having a baseball team there would really put them in that next tier of sports cities.
I like that. I do. I think top of my list, and I haven't heard it yet. That's New Orleans. I
Yeah,
think getting a team down there in New Orleans, with Mardi Gras and everything else they do down there, I'm for it, man. I really am. I mean, you already have a football team down there. Basketball is down there. It's been prevalent, so I mean, why not, right? Make them more of a all around sports city. I also like the idea of getting another team up in Canada, bring back Montreal. Why not?
yeah,
Uh, I like that idea. Nashville, I definitely agree with you. But I think for me, I like the idea of bringing back another team from Canada. You know, bring back
Yeah,
the Expos kind of,
Expos.
yeah. And
I
then
don't
of
know,
course,
Ottawa. I don't know, Quebec.
yeah,
Do something. I don't know.
I feel that you already have a huge fan base up there with Toronto and the Blue Jays. Why not add on, man? Seriously. And then New Orleans for me, I think is huge. I also, if the logistics weren't crazy, I love the idea of like a WBC type of thing where you put a team down in San Juan.
Yeah,
If those logistics weren't so crazy, or just I don't know, like Caribbean baseball. Like if you put a team in any of those countries, I mean, to me, it's huge.
and
And if you already
they'll
have,
quickly become the top team in that country in that city.
absolutely, baseball is huge in South America. We've seen it in the WBC every year. The DR is huge. Venezuela. I mean, they're coming off of a freaking championship. Um, you have Team Puerto Rico down there. I mean, Team Mexico. To me, I would like to see that. And you already have the logistics down with Canada and having two countries in one sport. Why not, right? So I also like that idea.
You mentioned Orlando, and that's the thing that Johnny Damon seems like he's really pushing for. You're not big on that. You didn't seem like you were. Or is two teams in Florida enough, along with everything else with Disneyland and Universal Studios? Like we're good. We don't need another base. We don't need another sports team here in Florida. As big as it is.
I like the idea, but I think a lot of it goes off of the CBA for me, and I'm going to tell you why. Lone Depot Park is
Yeah.
empty every night of the week. T- uh, the Trop in Tampa, that's empty like all the time. And you already have half of the league playing spring training there. I love the idea, but I want to see baseball grown in Florida more, which I think it's wild to me that it's not. Dude, when we went down to spring training, we saw more Yankee fans in Tampa than we did Tampa Bay Rays fans. It's
A
wild
lot
to
of
me.
Blue Jays fans down there too.
There
And
is,
Phillies.
yeah, yep. I mean, the whole like west coast of Florida is taken over by those three teams: the Blue Jays, the Phillies, and the Yankees. Why is that a thing? To me, like I want to see the CBA kind of like, obviously if you spend more money, you're gonna get more attraction to the stadium. So I look at it as like you get big name players in there. Both Florida teams are in the bottom 10 of the payroll. Why do you think it's not full? Because your owner doesn't spend money. So if these owners start spending more money and you put a team in Orlando, you're going to grow baseball down there. Then we can talk about baseball in Orlando. I love the idea, don't get me wrong. I'm for it. It's just it's not top of my list because I don't like the way baseball is in Florida already.
I'll give you one weird one, and then we'll get off of this. Put a second team in Arizona.
Ooh, okay. I like that.
I'd
That's
have
pretty
to look
cool.
at the map of Arizona again. Um, but of course, it's just one. It's one team, the whole city for the whole state. It's the D-backs.
Yeah,
But I feel like if you put another one in another part of Arizona, I feel like you can gain some traction.
I
You
think
can pull
so.
some fans. Be
Yeah.
like, hey, I could never go to D-backs games anyways because I live so far from Phoenix. But if you can put another team halfway, I'll gladly give it all up and switch.
No, I mean, again, like I think we've traveled a decent amount in the last 5 years doing what we do, and baseball travels, man. It really does. Phoenix, when we went out there for the WBC, there were fans everywhere, dude. I mean, and Chase Field is beautiful. Phoenix as a city is beautiful, and I
Yeah.
think it's extremely underrated.
Yep.
Um, that was a huge, I mean, it was a huge plus for me going out there. It wasn't just the baseball that I was excited for. I mean, the city of Phoenix was gorgeous, but I look at, I also look like Midwest, right? Iowa's been gaining steam in the last few years since the Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for, I feel like the travel and the population's too low to put a team in Iowa or like one of those middle countries, states. Wow,
Whoa.
yeah, states. But
Ooh,
to
I had a
me,
joke,
like
but I won't mention it.
traffic and stuff is just like I don't think it drives enough to warrant putting a stadium in one of those cities, but or a team. But yeah, I think Major League Baseball's in a really good spot with the relocation purposes because I think no matter where they go, it's gonna be a win to me. So I'm excited for it. Obviously, we're gonna hear more about this because for some reason Rob Manfred has this like is like top of his priority is expanding the league. I think he
Before he
said he wants to
leaves.
have yeah, he wants to have 32 teams by 2029, I believe is his last year. So if that's the case, hey, we're 3 years away. So don't be
And
shocked
and there might
if
not be a year next year, so you're down to two.
exactly. So don't be shocked if you hear a lot about relocation in the CBA, in the talks and the negotiations. Don't be shocked if you hear about that because Manfred's been on record saying time and time again he wants to have two more teams in Major League Baseball by the time he leaves. So 2029 is the mark. So we got yeah 3 years and two if we don't have a season next year. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I definitely think this is going to be a topic of conversation going forward for sure.
All right. Excuse me. Um, Trade deadline. Buyers and sellers. Now we're still a couple weeks away from really like figuring out who are buyers and sellers, but just want to play a little game. That's all. Just play a little game. I have the standings right here in front of me. I'm just looking at a bunch of teams that I think buyers and sellers. That's all. Just a fun little game. Um, Arizona. They're currently 31 and 27. 6.5 games out of first place in the NL West, and they currently hold the last spot in the National League wild card. Buyers or sellers?
This one's tough, and of course, you start with a team who's right there. Yeah, 6.5 out. I think they're close enough to the Padres. They're only a game out of the Padres, and hey, they're here, man. And I think they have too much talent on this team to be able to just be sellers. So I'm gonna go with buyers for now, but that could change going forward.
Philadelphia Phillies. Game and a half out of the final spot in the wild card. They are 9.5 games out of first place. Their record is 30 and 29. They're a game over 500. Buyers or sellers at the deadline. Like you could also say nothing. They can also just continue to roll with the team they have.
I was just gonna say to you, stand still. I think this Phillies team was very adamant about it in the preseason before the started. I think they're very adamant on seeing this thing through, and I don't think that's changing. I don't see a world where the Phillies are ever going to be sellers, unless they're like at the beginning of the year, maybe. But where they're at now, and with Don Mattingly kind of righting the ship, I think that was their move. To be honest with you, was Rob Thompson out of there. So I think they're just going to see it through. So I'm going to say standing still for the Phillies.
Yeah, the only way I can see the Phillies getting really aggressive and adding is if they can close the gap between them and the Braves by the time we get to the All Star break. Because if we get to the All Star break and the Phillies, let's just say, are 3.5, 4 games out of first place,
Yeah,
and Kyle Schwarber's continuing to hit home runs left and right, and Bryce Harper's continuing to have the productive season he is, maybe the Phillies go for it again. I don't know.
yeah.
Bring in another arm for the rotation. Bring another bat in there. I don't know what that looks like. I'm just for right now. I agree with you on June 1st. They still see it the whole way through. But if the Braves kind of slip up a little bit, which right now they show no signs of doing that, If you can close the gap between you and the Phillies by the All-Star break, I could see it. I could see the Phillies getting aggressive. Let's go for it again. Why not?
Yep.
Um, New York Mets. Let's stay in the division. 26 and 33, 5.5 games out of first place. I mean, 5.5 games out of the final wild card spot. And they are 13 and a half games. Jesus, I don't know if it was that much. They're 13 and a half games out of first place in the NL East. Buyers or sellers?
My head says Sellers, man. It really does because
Freddie
I
Peralta, welcome to the Bronx, baby.
yeah, I don't know if I'm going that far, but I this is one that I'm going to give you a two-part answer. Number one, my answer is Sellers. What I actually think is going to happen, I think is going to be standing still, maybe by. This is such a wash to me because you never know what Steve Cohen's going to do. He's invested so much money into this team, and to turn around and be Sellers, I don't know if he's ever going to be a seller. So, in my opinion, I'm going standing still as my final answer of what the Mets are going to do. I think they're going to stand still, but what I think they should do is sellers because I still think guys who have value can get sent and you can kind of retool a little bit. Freddie Peralta is one of them, and I think especially before you got to pay him. You know, I mean, he is in that walk year, so before you pay him here, you know, make sure you want to add on another contract. And of course, you have Bo Bichette there, who, you know, he's been decent this year, I guess, but he hasn't lived up to his expectation. And then, of course, you have Juan Soto on the book still for all those years. So I don't know, man. I really don't. But I'm going to say standing still because I think they did a lot of their retooling in the offseason.
Two sneaky teams for me because I think my answer. I think they will be sellers. Now they're not gonna
Okay.
do. They're not gonna completely tear it down. But I do
Mhm.
think Peralta. I think Peralta gets moved. To me, when there's
I like
smoke, there's fire, and I've been kind of hearing that. And I'll give you two teams that I think Peralta would fit, and I think that should be not aggressive, but they should try to get him.
it.
Toronto, and I'm going with the A's.
I like it. I do.
I think if the A's continue to play like this, and if they can stay somewhat in striking distance of the division, and they can hold on to a wild card spot, go get Freddie Peralta, and there's your one for that rotation to help you down the
Yeah,
stretch. But I know he'll be a
absolutely.
rental, but if you're the A's, you're kind of looking for something, and this might be your
Listen,
window to strike this year in a very weak American League.
not to mention the A's have spent money over the last few years. The
Yes,
last like 2 years, they've spent money. So if Peralta gives them what they like, he's going to get rewarded.
San Diego Padres. 5.5 games out of first place. Their record's 32 and 26, and as of today, they hold the top spot in the National League wild card. They're a postseason
Nothing.
team, but do you think they're catching the Dodgers? I think that goes into this as well.
I think they're going to be gunning for the Dodgers every year, man.
Yeah,
And
that's
they
true.
proved it in they proved it in the last few seasons where their trade deadlines have been active. They've been extremely active, and I see AJ Preller taking no chances. I think he's going to be a buyer again. That almost might be the easiest one for me because I mean AJ Preller's history and what the Padres have done over the last few years. Yeah, they're buyers.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'll put on my Dodger hat really for a second here. They're not catching my team, but
Yeah, I also agree. But again, you never know what's going to happen in the postseason, and if an arm or a bat that they get in there in the at the deadline might be the driving factor. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but
right.
what I am saying is Preller's been that kind of guy who's thought that before, and he's going to continue to be like that. That's the way he runs the Padres, and they haven't seen heaps of success, but they've been the team. They've been a team that's been there at the end. October is what I mean. So I do think that's going to continue.
Okay. Uh, I have three more National League teams, but just because I want to switch this up a little bit, get to more your neck of the woods here.
Okay.
Toronto Blue Jays, 29-31. They currently hold the final spot in the American League wild card. 9 games out of first place, and they're still kind of a ways behind the Yankees, who are in second place. They have a ton of injuries right now. They are going to get their pieces back, but will it be enough to when we get to the deadline at the end of next month?
This one's tough because I don't know when these pieces are coming back. We know they're coming back, but when? Is it going to be too late for the Blue Jays? Is Kirk going to get back? Is Barger going to start hitting in AAA? Is Davis Schneider going to start hitting in AAA? I think a lot of the guys who they relied on last year are not producing.
Nope. You want to really? Vladdy has not looked good this year either.
No,
He's been good for
and
some
that's
here and there, but overall, he's had a down year this year.
and that's what kind of like concerns me a little bit because even when you get these guys back, is it going to be enough? Because yeah, let's say they are fully healthy. Barrios is back in the rotation, and then you have Kirk coming back, and then all the guys in AAA come back up. The problem is the rest of the team going to produce? And I'm going buyers, but that could change.
All right, let's not wait any longer. Let's discuss the elephant in the room here of why this topic even came up today. The Detroit Tigers, 22-38, last place in their division. They
Sellers,
are
100.
7 games out of the final spot in the wild card, and yeah, they're 11 and a half games out of first place.
They got to be sellers, man. They have to be. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Tarek Skubal ain't re-signing. I hate to break it to every Detroit fan. He's not re-signing. So why not make Yep, exactly what, all the smoke that we've been hearing with the Dodgers, of course. Um it's only a matter of time. Like, you can't make the same mistake that the Angels made with Otani. Trade him. I hate to say, we've heard it for the past, like, what would you say, Melo? Like, year and a half we've been hearing that he's going to be on the move.
Year and a half. I thought he was
Sell him.
getting moved during the offseason.
So did I. So did I. Sell. I mean, you got to trade him. That's what it comes down to. The package that is going to come in return is wild. Trade him, build up the rest of your young team, and get back to it next year. That's the way I look at it. I mean, you pretty much dug yourself in a hole that you're not getting out of. I mean, now listen, the AL Central is what it is, but 11 and a half games out, 22-38, you might have to win this division to get a wild card spot or to get a
To
spot
get
in
a
the postseason.
postseason spot.
Yeah, you're gonna have to win this division. I don't see that happening. So June 1st right now, if you asked me if I was a betting man, the the Tigers are gonna miss the postseason. So with that being said, trade him. Trade him and get a haul in return, and then rebuild your team. Because you have a lot of young, good pieces here. Kevin McGonigal's been a freaking star. He's been a stud. He's going to turn into a superstar. Kerry Carpenter, he's looked really good over the last few years. Riley Green, like, this team has pieces. Cole Keith, just keep, just keep building on that. And the amount of prospect, you can get a top prospect back for Tarek Skubal very easily. So yeah, trade him. And I think the Tigers are going to be sellers.
It's not good business, and it's not smart decision making if you don't trade him at this point.
Yeah,
You saw the mistake that the Angels did with Otani a couple seasons ago when they didn't trade him at the deadline. It was very clear that he was going to leave in free agency. If you already know you're not going to pay him, deal him and take
yep,
advantage of one of these big teams. And this goes for my team as well. Take
yep.
advantage of one of these big teams that is willing to give you the future for him. Take advantage of it. Don't do what the Angels did a couple seasons ago. There's going to be And I think this also goes into it as well because you know the Dodgers are going to be at the top of that list of teams that are going to want to trade for Tarek Skubal. You can use that as leverage for these other teams to be more aggressive and to get
Yeah,
even more than you would if the Dodgers were not interested or if the Dodgers weren't competing for anything. Just
yep,
having the Dodgers lurk, to me, it should even be more of a reason to trade Tarek Schoolball. Whether you get everything you can out of the Dodgers, or you just go to another aggressive team that is willing to give you everything and more, just so he doesn't get traded to the Dodgers. Like to me, that's just smart business, and to me,
absolutely.
that's an easy decision. And if you're not going to resign him anyways, cap or no cap, what do you why are you going to waste this season?
Yep,
Do the right thing and trade him
absolutely.
right here. Okay, let's see. Any other teams? Any other teams that I like? Mm. You see, with some of these teams, though, like, yeah, what could they do? Okay, so for example, okay, well, this is not one of them, but let's do your team. How about the Yankees? What do you want? What do you want them to do? 36 and
Buy,
23, game and a half out of first place behind Baltimore. I mean, but geez, behind Baltimore, behind Tampa Bay, and they
yeah,
currently hold the top spot in the American League wild card.
buyers for sure. We need more production out of the catching position. That's been made very clear. Not to mention, bullpen has not been our strong suit. We need some arms down there. Um, I think the pitching staff looks good. I think it should be ready for October. But hey, man, you can never have too many pitchers,
Freddie
and you
Peralta.
can't really rely on. I want to stay away from Freddie Peralta.
Yeah, I
I
get it.
love him as a ball player, but I want to stay away from him. I was looking at Ryan Jeffers from the
Yeah,
Twins, but he's on the shelf right now. I don't know what's going on there, but
Jose
that's
Soriano.
who. I, listen, man, I've been a huge advocate of Jose Soriano for years. I love his game, and I think his ERA doesn't tell the full story of the type of pitcher he is. And I think under a guy like Matt Blake, who's the Yankees pitching coach, he could do wonders with him, man. I mean, Matt Blake's been known for that. So I listen, I would love that that type of trade. I really would. So buyers for the Yankees and get me a couple arms and get me a catcher who can actually produce offensively, of course.
Okay, two borderline teams, and I think we'll move on from this. Texas Rangers, 28 and 31, half a game out of the final spot in the wild card. And looking at their division standings, 2.5 out of first place.
Um, this is a tough one. It's definitely a tough one, but I'm gonna say buyers. I don't think they're far out from the Athletics, and the Mariners have not gotten off to the kind of start that we had expected. They're 31 and 29. They're only 2 games above 500. That's This is a winnable division. It really is. And if you're only 2.5 games out, you got to be buyers, right? And especially with all the talent that Texas has. I mean, this is a team that Brandon Nimmo's been pretty damn good for them. Jacob DeGrom's been turning back the clock a little bit. I like what they and Evaldi. I mean, in that rotation too, and Corey Seager's still there, and to me, if you're that close, like you got to be buyers, especially in such a weak division like that. And you know, last year you thought the Rangers were making the World Series.
Yes, I did. Thanks for
This
reminding
is
me.
a team not in a
I
bad
know, I
way.
was.
This is a team that has the pieces there. So to me, you're not far out. Go out and buy. Go out and get a couple pieces and go win that damn thing. I mean, they have the talent to do it.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say they stand pat right now. They have a ton of injuries. They're missing three big bats in the lineup right now. Evan Carter left foot day to day. Corey Seager back inflation spasms. Don't know how long that's gonna. Expected early June, but here we are with June 1st. And Wyatt Langford, hamstring injury. Um, those are three big pieces right there. I think if they can get them back all in time for a second half run, I think the Rangers could sneak into a postseason spot without question. All right, last team here, Baltimore Orioles. Same thing. They're a game out of the final spot of the wild card. 28-32, very similar record to the Rangers, who are above them. 10.5 games out of first place in the AL East. I don't think that's happening, but buyers, sellers, or stay put.
I think this is a team that stays put. I think they've invested too much coming off of the Pete Alonso deal, and you know, I see the Orioles staying put for the rest of the year. Maybe a few small pieces at the deadline, um, but I don't think it's going to be anything significant. I don't see this is where it's tough. I don't know if they're a postseason team quite yet. Ask me again in a few weeks, and maybe I'll have a better answer for you, but the Orioles have shown that they're trying to turn the tide here. And to be quite honest with you, it's no fault to the front office. I honestly think it's the players who are kind of taking steps back, um, that really haven't put it on the field. So I don't think they can be sellers because of what they have, how the tide has gone over the last few years. But I do think they stand put and then they make their moves in the off season, whenever the off season obviously is. But I don't know, man. Like they've done so much to this team in the last few years that I don't think they can be sellers quite yet. And they're a young team still. I still think they can make some noise. If anything, I see them adding to the starting rotation, which they desperately need. So I think if anything, that's where they're going to target. But I don't know if it's going to be a big buyer's market. So I think they're going to stay put.
Okay, I lied. One last team. This is an easy one, but I think we have to discuss it. Chicago
Mhm.
White Sox. Game out of first place, 32-27, and right now they have the fifth spot, the second wild card spot in the American League.
Buyers,
Easy.
100%. Yeah. This team has to be buyers. They look good, man. They really do. And listen, don't look now. That starting rotation is underrated as hell. They have a good starter, a good starting rotation. Murakami just went on the IL, but I don't know if it's going to be long. I think he's going to be out for a few weeks, but they are calling up their top prospects. And somebody I want to shout out here, Melo, you know him very well.
Yep, Miguel Vargas.
Miguel has had a hell of a year. And I think he's finally starting to, show the flashes of what we knew he could be. I don't think for guys like that, Los Angeles is such like a great place because you're blocked constantly. You know, it's star studded. That entire team is star studded. And Miguel Vargas always showed like he showed flashes that he could be this, really good player, borderline star player. And now that he's in Chicago for a couple of years now, I think he's putting it together, man. And he looks good. He really does. So I'm super happy to see him succeeding and kind of pushing everything together. So it's so cool to see and yeah, 100% buyers for sure.
There you go. Buyers, and sellers. All right, well, let's get to our teams and we'll call it a day. Um,
Yep.
I'll just start with my team, just because I have no complaints absolutely whatsoever.
Hmm.
5-1 on the homestand, swept the Rockies, took 2 out of 3 from the Phillies. Phenomenal. Did what they were supposed to do. Took advantage of a weak schedule. Took advantage of a Phillies team that yes, I think they're gonna be fine. I think they're good, or they're gonna be good, but take advantage of when maybe they're not playing so well, and that's exactly what happened. Roki Sasaki had his best start of his career on Saturday. Unfortunately, it didn't mean anything because the Dodgers ended up losing the game anyways. But had a ton of whiffs, had a ton of strikeouts, used his high velocity fastball, and used his deadly splitter of what his best pitch was when he first came over here from Japan, and he kind of hinted at something to the media after the game Saturday. He may have re-found himself again. I don't know what that means. We're gonna have to wait and see because I don't think he's pitching this series against the Diamondbacks. He's probably gonna pitch this weekend against the Angels. I'm very anxious and very excited to see what that looks like because if he found himself, look out. This rotation just got a whole lot deeper and a whole lot better. So that was very nice to see. Unfortunately, do have to talk about a couple injuries. Kike Hernandez, he came back on Monday. The whole place went crazy. Like it is amazing that Kike Hernandez now, number one, he's a big postseason player. He's gonna come up with some big postseason moments for us. Number two, he's been here for a long time since 2015. I know he had some stops in Boston, but he did come back. The Dodgers did trade for him back in 2023. He gets one of the loudest cheers in out of the entire Dodger lineup. And remember, that's a lineup filled with Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Will Smith, Kike Hernandez. He gets one of the loudest ovations out of all of the players. And he was a spark that was really, really nice to see in this Dodgers lineup. And unfortunately, he got hurt his second game back. He tore his oblique, and now we don't. There's no timeline at all of when he could be back. It sucks because he hurt himself in batting practice on Monday. Not even before his first game back, he felt something off, and then but he's tried to play through it, and then he hit a home run Tuesday night, and apparently he said when he swung, it hurt. Like it just hurt the whole swing, and they took him out, and then I think the next night, Teoscar Hernandez running down to first base, his hamstring. That sucks. He's gonna be out for a little bit, but the thing that I like is that some of these younger pieces that the Dodgers have been bringing up have been performing. Alex Freeland hit a home run yesterday. Ryan Ward hit his first career home run in his first career game yesterday. That was cool to see. And then Tommy Edman, he's on a rehab assignment right now. He's probably going to join the team here in a week or two. So I'm excited for that. But just again, man, I want to see this Dodger team healthy, man. I want to see this lineup full of everybody. And I haven't seen it so far this season. There's been Mookie was out at the beginning of the season. Freddie's missed a few games here and there for rest, but just to keep him, fresh. Now the injuries to Tommy Edman and Kike Hernandez, like they've been giving Shohei Ohtani days off just because they don't want to burn him out throughout the season, which I get it. That's fine. But God, I want to see this team at full strength, man. I really do. But they're still winning games. Nothing for me to complain about at all. They've widened the gap a little bit between themselves and the Padres, which is good. That's what I want to see. It's at 5.5. Try to push it to 10. Try to get it to 8. Try to get it to 10. See what you can do. See how far you can push this. But no complaints whatsoever out of me. The Dodgers look good. The bullpen looks good, even with the absence of Edwin Diaz. Guys have stepped up. Tanner Scott, in particular, has looked fantastic. I know he coughed up the game Saturday, but he's been nails all season, and he's been terrific. Will Klein, Alex Vesia, everybody. But injuries suck. Hope those guys come back soon, and just keep playing good baseball. Keep playing good baseball. Got another test in the division starting tonight. Very interested and very intrigued by this series because the Diamondbacks have been playing some good ball recently. And they have caught up to the Padres right there, and they're looking to take over the second spot in the National League West. So very interesting week up ahead. And then the Angels, of course, this weekend at Dodger Stadium, which doesn't matter what the record is for the Angels. They always play the Dodgers tough. I know they swept the Dodgers. I know the Dodgers swept the Angels a couple weeks ago in Anaheim, and it wasn't close, but still, I expect them to play hard in those 3 games at LA this weekend. But no complaints out of me. Dodgers, keep doing what you're doing and just get healthy. Just get healthy. That's all I'm asking.
Absolutely. So for the Yankees, They have been pretty good, man. 5-1 over the last week. I can't really ask more out of that. Yeah, you took 3 out of 3 against the Royals, and then you went out to Sacramento and lost 1 out of the 3, which is huge, right? And there's a few players I want to talk about. Number one, Ryan Weathers. I can't trust him, man. I can't. He's constantly blowing games left and right. He just doesn't look calm. He's more of a swing man to me. I kind of like him out of the bullpen, to be quite honest with you. More of like a Ryan Yarborough type of role. Um, but he like I just can't trust him. I don't feel good with him on the mound, and it's backed up because the past few starts he kind of unfolds, and a lot of his starts are like 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 6 innings, 4 earned runs type of thing, where like the Yankees offense just sometimes just doesn't back him up, and it's unfortunate, but I've seen flashes out of Weathers where I'm like, okay, this guy can be something. That's kind of why I like him in that swing role because I think with less innings, I feel like he's more effective. But Boone, you'll figure that out, I suppose. Garrett Cole, he looks great. I can't express how happy I am to see him back out on the mound, and he was a big free agent signing back in 2019, and kind of really was the prize piece over the last 10 years, I would say that the Yankees have done, and you know he looks great in 2 starts, 0 earned runs. I can't ask for more out of Garrett Cole, and then of course against the Royals, going the distance. I mean, it's exactly what you want out of him. So, um, as far as the lineup goes, never did I think in the last few years since we kind of like got rid of Juan Soto, and I mean Juan Soto has been the only one that I could ever say like, hey, this guy might have a better season than Aaron Judge. Well, I got that back again, and that's Ben Rice. Ben Rice has looked phenomenal. He was a triple away from the cycle the other night. I mean, this kid is just blossoming into a star first baseman. I mean, the kid's got power, he's got contact skills, he's everything we could have asked for. And he's finally blossoming into that role. And such a cool thing to see because he's picked up Aaron Judge a lot this year. Judgy hasn't been amazing this season. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, he's still Aaron Judge, but he's not the Aaron Judge that we expect. So Ben Rice is picking him up, and it's been a beautiful thing to see. And another guy that's been picking him up, possibly the best left fielder in all of baseball this season, Cody Bellinger. Man, I mean, I was against re-signing Belly. I will fully take that on the chin. I'm fine with it. But hey, he's on my team. I said it when he resigned. I'm gonna root for him because I still like Bellinger. I just didn't think the long term deal would really work out. But so far, it looks good, man. I mean, he's doing exactly what we need, and him and Rice have really been carrying this Yankees lineup when Judge is down. Um, so it's nice to see. So it'll be interesting to see just how many all stars come out of this team. That's kind of what I'm looking at right now because I mean we're about a month out from the All Star game, and something I like to do in my personal time is I like to try to guess of how many Yankees are going to be All Stars this year,
I'm with you.
and I I really do think Bellinger and Rice are making this team. They look good, man. They really do. Cam Schlittler's another one, and of course Aaron Judge is probably always going to be there, but yeah, I like to look at the smaller guys who might not get that chance to always be penciled in at right field or center field or whatever. So that's something I'm really looking forward to seeing. Hey, can we get somebody other than Judge in there? That'd be cool. So yeah, we'll kind of see where it goes. But as far as the Yankees go, I'm kind of happy with where they're at right now. I mean, you're what 2.5 games out from the Rays. I think is what you said earlier. Um, Sorry, 1.5. So that hey, that's even better. You're 1.5 out from the Rays, and yeah, just keep playing good ball. And you start a 3 game. I believe it's 3 games against Cleveland. We'll see how they match up with a division winner as of right now, division leader. So I'm excited to see how that goes. But yeah, as of right now, the Yankees are. I don't have too much to complain about. But yeah, let's hope it sticks that way. So we'll see. But that's all I have on the Yankees.
There you have it. Unless you got anything else, I think that's gonna do it.
I think that's it, man.
All right. Well, enjoy the week. I don't know how it is for you over there, Kyle, but stay warm. I mean, stay cool. Jesus, don't stay warm. You'll burn. Uh, Summer's
It's still
coming.
weird out here.
Yeah, same here.
Still wishy washy. Yeah, it's 67 degrees right now. So you know, however you want to
Like
take that.
70, 77, I think 78 today. We're,
Ah,
we're getting
gorgeous.
we're getting there. Starting to heat up.
Understandable.
All right, well, we'll see you in a week. Adios.